I salted the pie my mother-in-law enters as her own. So every year my husband's family does this big fall bake-off at the church my mother-in-law goes to. There's like 40 people, a folding table full of pies and cakes, and the pastor's wife hands out a little ribbon at the end. It's silly honestly, but people take it way too seriously. Here's the thing. I'm the one who bakes. My apple pie is kind of a family legend, brown butter crust, the whole deal. I've been making it since before I even met Daniel. 3 years ago his mom Carol asked if she could help carry it in. I said sure. Then I watched her set it down at her spot and write her own name on the little card. She won. Everyone clapped for Carol. I told Daniel that night. He goes, "You're overthinking it. She probably just grabbed the wrong card." I said, "There was only one card and it had her handwriting on it." He said, "It's a church thing, mom loves it. Does it really matter who won?" So it happened again the next year, and the year after that. 3 ribbons on Carol's fridge, 3 pies I made with my own 2 hands. She even told her sister the crust was an old family secret she'd never share. This year she called me 2 weeks out and said, "Don't worry about the bake-off, honey. Just bring your pie by Saturday morning and I'll handle the rest." I said, "You'll handle the rest?" She said, "That's what I said." I said, "Okay." So Saturday I made 2 pies. One I set aside for us. The other one, the one going to church, I made exactly the same way. Same crust, same everything, except when it came to the filling I dumped in about a 1/4 cup of salt with the sugar. Then I brushed the top with more salt water so it'd bake up gold and gorgeous. It looked perfect. It looked like a winner. I dropped it at Carol's at 9. She lifted the foil, breathed it in and said, "Oh, this is the one. I can feel it." I said, "I think this might be your best year yet." She patted my cheek. At the church I sat in the back with Daniel. Carol was up front working the room, telling the pastor's wife how she'd been up since 5 and how baking was her little love language. People kept coming over to smell it. She was glowing. Judging is a taste thing. The pastor's wife and 2 other ladies go down the table with little forks. I watched the whole thing. They got to Carol's pie and she stood right there beaming, hands folded, waiting. The pastor's wife took a bite. Her face did something I will remember for the rest of my life. She kind of froze, then swallowed real slow, then set the fork down very gently like it had bitten her. "Carol," she said, "did you taste this before you brought it in?" Carol laughed. "Of course, I always do. You tasted this every year," Carol said. The other judge took a tiny bite just to check and immediately reached for her water. The pastor's wife said, "Real quiet, honey, this is inedible. This is just salt." And Carol, God bless her, could not stop herself. She said, "That's impossible. I followed my grandmother's recipe exactly like I always do." The pastor's wife looked up. "Your grandmother's recipe?" "My family's secret crust," Carol said, louder, because now people were listening. "I've made this pie for 30 years. That's when I stood up. I walked to the front real calm and said, "That's so strange because that's my grandmother's recipe. I made that pie this morning and dropped it at your house at 9. Same as the last 3 years. You could have heard a pin drop." Carol's mouth opened and nothing came out. "You've never baked a thing in your life, Carol?" I said. "You just carry mine in and write your name on the card." The pastor's wife looked down at the card, then at Carol, then at me. She said, "Whose handwriting is this?" Carol said, "I can explain. It's hers." I said, "Every year, go ask her sister about the secret crust." Daniel finally got up from the back. I thought he was going to defend his mom. Instead, he walked past her, put his hand on my shoulder, and said to the room, "Yeah, my wife made all 3 of them." I should have said something years ago. Carol grabbed the pie off the table like she was going to hide the evidence and took a big proud bite to prove it was fine. She spat it into a napkin in front of the entire congregation. Carol hasn't put a ribbon back on her fridge, and the pastor's wife texts me now asking if I'd judge next year instead.